Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya together. Naram Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottama Devyam Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraya Nasta Paresha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seva Bhagavati Uttamaśloke Bhakti Bhakti Naistiki. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto his personality of Godhead, Narayan, to Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and Srila Prabhupada, the translator and commentator. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, by rendering a service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and with the service to the Krishna of Godhead, whose praise we trains in the songs, is established as the pure.
Started 7-11. My God. Oh my God, what's happening? Shruti is rubbing off me. Or Brahmatirtha, maybe both of, I'm sure both of them, to my great fortune. Sorry about that. He was totally intentional. Okay, we'll read the text, taking turns, one side the other. Then we'll cover the purport of 9 is very nice, and the end of 11 is also there. Cover something on a theme of Krishna's size. Transcendental crawlers. Whatever it takes. There's a 2 themes in this section: Krishna's size, comprehensive. Inconceivable. Yes, thank you. Inconceivable. How inconceivable Krishna's size is, from macro to micro, and all in between. And also there's another theme, there's a theme of Krishna's protection. Those two have come up for me, but we'll see if maybe there's more. Let's start.
O son of Bhrigu Shaunaka, when the child Parikshit, the great fighter, was in the womb of his mother Uttara and was suffering from the burning heat of the Brahmastra thrown by Ashwatthama, he could observe the Supreme Lord coming to him.
He, the Lord, was only thumb high, but he was all transcendental. He had a very beautiful, blackish, infallible body, and he wore a dress of lightning yellow and a helmet of blazing gold. Thus he was seen by the child.
The Lord was enriched with 4 hands, earrings of molten gold, and eyes blood red with fury. As he loitered about, his cloud constantly encircled him like a shooting star.
The Lord was thus engaged in vanquishing the radiation of the Brahmastra, just as the sun evaporates a drop of dew. He was observed by the child who thought about who he was.
While thus being observed by the child, the Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, the super soul of everyone and the protector of the righteous, who stretches in all directions and who is unlimited by time and space, disappeared at once.
So, do you see the two themes there? Krishna's size, inconceivable. They say something so great like universe, you can think of. It's so vast. Even the oceans are so vast. What is that greatest depth of the ocean? Mariana's Trench. It's like deeper than Himalayas. There's still some room left. Imagine the depths, how vast the ocean is. And then imagine, we can't. That's why it's inconceivable. The word is achyuta. Achyuta, like when you sneeze. I like to remember achyuta when I sneeze. So I try to sneak it in. Remembering Krishna. Inconceivable. And then also in a small size, as you zoom in, so as we zoom out and you zoom in, atomic structure and all the quarks, and any students here, they can confirm the subatom. What is the greatest or furthest they've discovered? Okay, and then they hit the wall, right? They hit a lot. So that also is also inconceivable. You know, we hit the wall. There's a barrier of how aware, how cognizant we can, aware, conscious we can become of. There's a limitation. Our teeny pea-like brain cannot fathom infinity. You know, the concept of infinity, unlimited. It's very difficult. So therefore, it's achyuta, inconceivable. Yesterday we celebrated Nityananda, Appearance Day. Nityananda Mahajan Ki. He is also Anantadev. You see right behind, there's Ananta Shesha. That Nitai, I was hoping Nitai will polish yesterday, but there was so much going on. But usually it shines from behind with unlimited hoods, and you can see that on that painting there. That is Balaram, and Balaram has become Nitai. Balarama Hoilo Nitai in the Mahaprabhu's pastime. So there is Nityananda. With infinite mouths, Anantadeva is engaged in what? Yeah, engaged in glorifying infinite pastimes of Krishna. So try to wrap your mind around that. There's infinite pastimes, and then there's infinite mouths that are glorifying. And you want to add the time dimension? since time immemorial. And this has been going on. So we have not only scratched, we didn't even scratch the surface. And that's why our attempts to understand the inconceivable one, they fail. They fail unless they add, I should say add, just like Prabhupada said, just add Krishna. But when we say adding Krishna, what we mean is we add bhakti. And what is bhakti? What is bhakti? All of you bhaktas. Huh? Yes, but how did Prabhupada translate bhakti?
Devotional service.
Yeah, devotional service. Not just devotion, but there's a nice composite translation. There's a composite of two words. Not just devotion, but devotional service. And not just service, but service done with devotion. Very important to have both, because devotional service can start as devotional service and then becomes less of devotional, but more service. Then it becomes just service, but it doesn't stop there. If you don't kind of nip it in the bud and add more bhakti, then service can become a chore. Do I really have to do that? Do I really have to do the laundry? Gopal never asked that question. He's excited. And that's such an easy service. But here's the thing. Without bhakti, even the easiest things, they become so difficult. And when you have bhakti, even the most difficult things, they become so easy. Like crossing the ocean in the age of, how old was Prabhupada? 69, 70, yeah. 2 heart attacks. Nothing deterring. One thing almost deterring, but nobody was responding. Consciousness calling. And it was going to the harbor, to the pier where all the ships were going back to Mexico. When is the next one going back? It's not that he was doubting, but nothing, in that first year, nothing was happening. So it was a little deterred at this point. But then he said, Krishna has sent some boys and girls. Then he understood Krishna had a different plan. So it was always like that. Krishna is always that on the verge, and we see that also here with Parikshit, who's the main character of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, the beautiful Bhagavatam, is the main character. And in a way of, I would say, inverted narrative. You know what inverted narrative is? When kind of the end is told first, and then they're unwrapping the whole story. So we heard that Parikshit was, sitting there on a, that's how it starts. He's cursed and he's sitting on a bank, and by providence, Shukadev comes and get involved in Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Ho, hearing and chanting about Krishna only. No eating, no drinking, no sleeping. Just rapt attention. Don't ask me how. Just rapt attention. I guess if you're dying, if you know you're dying in 7 days, there's going to be an additional motivation to absorb as much as you can. But with us, there's no guarantee. He was fortunate to know that he has 7 days, but we're not guaranteed 7 minutes in this world where there's danger at every step. Sorry. It's like one step came out of my mouth. I was like, oh, how inconsiderate. And two right in front of me sitting. But it's getting better, right? Okay. Yeah. And then among all the sages there, Sutta was present. And then Sutta, he retells or he tells it again in a Naimisharanya to all the assembled sages there, headed by Shonaka. And then they asked that question. All the sages in Naimisharanya, they asked that question. What was the question? Well, no. What? Yeah, that's there too. But the question in regards to what we're hearing now, because this is a continuation of. This is Sutta Goswami. This is Sutta speaking to Shonaka, who represents all the sages, and it's the answer to their question about King Parikshit. So tell us about King Parikshit. Tell us about the king. And then many chapters now, pretty much for the rest of the canto, we'll be hearing all about Parikshit, for the most part. So who is Parikshit? And that's why they gave the whole background of his lineage. Very, very powerful lineage. Because if you notice, there's a jump. They're talking about Yudhishthira and how glorious and righteous king he was, and about all of his hesitations to take on the rule because of the price tag. He had his own doubts, but was cleared by the sadhu sangha, and he was empowered to carry on. And then there's a jump. So from Yudhishthira, who ruled without personal ambition, can you imagine the rule without personal ambition? It's very, very, what you see today in a world of politics is just the opposite. There's so much of personal ambition, right? From the very beginning, and so much, they call it politics, right? That's what it is. But he had none. He had none. It's so rare. And then there's a jump. So who is Parikshit? Or should we say, chronologically, who is Yudhishthira in relation to Parikshit? Yeah, like a grand uncle. Because Arjuna is Parikshit's grandfather, and Arjuna and Yudhishthira are brothers. Just like a grand uncle. So Parikshit is coming from very, very powerful lineage. And what it did, whatever Yudhishthira has established, he excelled it. Even Parikshit was also another powerful and very, very good king, that he excelled and make it even greater, whatever Yudhishthira has established. So this is what every father, every spiritual master, every king wants to see. Those who are coming after him, they take it even further. They take it to a next level. Right? So Parikshit has done that. But as the Bhagavatam, well, it's interesting. During that rule, there was a mishap. You know, the whole Bhagavatam is kind of a result of a mistake, a glitch, if you wish, right? There was a glitch. So what was the glitch? How did Bhagavatam happen? What was the glitch that caused Bhagavatam? Huh? Yes. Was that a hand or?
Yeah, I was going to say, Parikshit offended son.
It was actually a Brahmana, and then the son of a Brahmana was very displeased that Parikshit treated his father in that way. Shringi, unexperienced or inexperienced, a Brahmana boy. That is not to blame because he's just young and inexperienced. So who is to blame? Is it Parikshit? Because he was, sometimes we are hungry, but sometimes we are also hangry. So he was a little hangry. And it's like, actually thirsty, very thirsty. So he, you know, when you're in Croatia in the morning, there's a saying that I hear from my mother. Kad si gladan nisi svoj. which means when you're hungry, then you are not yourself, right? It's like, ever the experience? When you're hungry, you like do things that it's like not yourself. It's harder to control our mind and our senses. So it was that moment of Parikshit's glitching and in all of his good character. But again, it was arranged by Krishna's internal potency, so the Bhagavatam can be spoken. So next time you make a mistake, I want you to remember that. That if there's any glitching, it might be for good, provided you take the radical personal responsibility. You learn from it and you grow from it. Then there will be no mistakes. And this is why devotee life is so exciting. It's so wonderful. You always learn and grow, no matter what the situation might be. There's nothing that difficult, provided again we have bhakti and we take that responsibility. We have done. He could have easily counter-cursed Shringi and just nullified that all, but he took it because he knew it's a wonderful exit strategy for a king. So, like that, we should be able not to tell Gaurnitai how big our problems are. We should tell our problems how great and big Gaurnitai are. Then there's a shift, and we can be properly sheltered. Otherwise, it's just like, losing battle. Okay, so that's a little background of why like this. And now we are starting. Parikshit is in the womb. What's happening here is in the womb. He's being attacked. And I said, Krishna has this inconceivable nature of like very, very great and very, very small, very, very big. It's Vibhu. Krishna's another name. Vibhu is great, greatest and the great, infinitely great. And also Anu. Anu means very tiny, like atomic, infinitely small. But there's something that it's even more inconceivable. So there's inconceivable, then there's something even Maha Achyuta, even more inconceivable. And what is that? That he comes even in a medium size. He comes even in a medium size. How amazing! Like a normal size, a human-like, or even like in this case, it's thumb-like size, the size of a thumb. How's that even possible? And why? Only to, again, reciprocate with a devotee, in this case, Parikshit, and to protect him within the womb. In a verse, I believe 10, he's depicted, you know, the front page of the Science of Self-Realization, SSR. It's like that. He has 4 arms and looks like a nucleus, like surrounded by electrons. So his club was buzzing around him like that to protect an embryo from this powerful weapon, Brahmastra, that was like a surgical precision targeting embryo only. That weapon. So there it is. This is what saved Parikshit within the womb. Imagine the thumb-sized Vishnu, Krishna, who had 2 more arms, and that club was buzzing around like that. Very powerful force, and energy force that counteracted, and then disappeared. So let's read the. Gopal, you want to add anything?
Just since he's talking about an embryo in the womb, it reminded me of the third canto, what it says about the plight of the embryo in the womb. It's described that the child is conscious for the last 3 months, and it's all hunched over, can barely move, hungry, thirsty, floating in a bag of stool and urine, constantly being bitten by worms, tender flesh. So it's actually a very uncomfortable situation. And but it's described that if the child is fortunate, he remembers his previous 100 lives also. So that could be very instructive to where we came from and where we're going.
First 7 months is like a trance, right? Like a trance for 7 months, and then last 2 months is like this very intense remembrance and regret, where the embryo offer prayers too. Oh Lord, please do not make me forget you this time. But then the birth event is so shocking, so painful that there's this amnesia that takes place. However, during the youth, there's soft spot in the head. My niece just had a kid, so I'm a great grand uncle. So there's a spot here, and it takes several years until it kind of just locks in. Welcome to the prison. The doors are closed. The top gate is closed, and now the sentence begins. But during that first few years of there's some cases of remembering those previous lives. There's a study in University of Virginia. There's a whole department of perceptual studies established by Ian Stevenson. We probably study him there in the VI of many, many cases, documented cases of children who actually can remember their previous life with a very accurate precision of parent names and even speaking language sometimes, address, all these details. They've never been there, obviously. There was no newspaper clips, or even now in time of digital connection, it's very, very hard to have that accurate precision of that kind. And they researched it, and there was some cases that sometimes those memories will surface, and most parents, actually, there's a much more cases, but parents usually would disregard those as gibberish, something that children will, small children, you don't take them seriously. So they will just disregard that, but there's an evidence for that, and it's available. Yes?
I say one thing on that is there's actually some documentaries. It's like a
Surviving Death Netflix series, and this researcher has made documentaries on these children who remember their past lives and also like how they died, and then he'll look in the death records and see exactly what the child is describing correlates to a person who died, their name, all the details. And actually Wisdom of the Sages uses that sometimes in their retreats, because a lot of people they don't necessarily believe in reincarnation, so they actually show those documentaries to people, and people are like, okay, yeah, now I believe, like, this is real.
Yeah, there are many cases, many books also. There's one doctor, Alan, I think I mentioned that when the last BI conference, we had some speakers here from that conference from Europe, and the devotee from Denmark, I forgot his name, or someone else. Yes, he was here. So I mentioned Alan Hamilton, Dr. Alan Hamilton. He wrote a book, Scalpel for the Soul, and so even in doctors' communities, they have these like very solid cases of patients when their heart is stopped and there's no brain activity. There's, later when they return, there was this recollection of everything that was going on during the surgical operation. Possible. So anyway, what doctors, and he was stepping out because, and taking a lot of risk, because when you do that, you're taking a risk of losing a job and like being stigmatized and all of that. So, but there's more and more talk as we push on book distribution, as we push on prashadam distribution. There's a shift in not just culture, but there's a shift in paradigm this world runs on. And what is the paradigm that Prabhupada attacked? Two main ones that he attacked. Well, the theory that this life comes from matter. Very, very harmful. Very harmful. It's just, it's like an acid that dissolved the fabric of any morale or righteousness in a society. Because if there's no life after that, everything is just by accident, then anything goes. Just don't get caught, right? Just anything goes. Zero responsibility. So we see that today more and more. Very, very dangerous. So Prabhupada was aware and he wanted to expose that. Another thing was impersonalism. But yeah, was that a hand?
We're the soul and the heart instead of us being the body. It's the living essence that we are. It's coming from the body. It's the living essence that we are in the heart. So you said it's like thinking that life comes from acts, the acid that dissolves.
Morality in society. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, there's millions and billions and trillions of examples of life coming from life. Every moment, so many living entities are being born, dying, plus their maintenance is being provided for. There's so many examples, trillions of examples of life coming from life, not one single example of life coming from dead matter. So it's just, it's simple.
Other comments or questions on this? Yo, the BI representative. Yes, I was hoping.
Gopal.
We're going to be roasted now.
I'm not sure where to start. I think if you look at Ian Stevenson's research, you'll see that the scientific community pretty roundly denounces it as being poor science. He asked a lot of leading questions. So, I mean, yeah, you could say that they're just saying that because it doesn't fit in with their worldview, but I think it's pretty clear that science doesn't think that his work is up to par. One thing.
Okay.
Oh, I disagree that people that don't believe that life comes from life are necessarily, I don't think that morality has to exist in that framework. I think that there are plenty of examples of atheists that have strong morals and act in such a way.
That is true. I've met quite a few also. Can you use the mic? Microphone for people online.
Kids on campus who identify as atheists, they tend to be some of the most open and interested minds I come across. Like, yeah, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God, but like they're so favorable. And so it's like you call yourself an atheist, but you're out here asking these deep, deep questions, and they don't have an essence of morality. Like I met, or not that it's not an essence of morality, but like an essence of hope. And yeah, it's fascinating how even with believing that life comes from matter, these beings can still be so vastly open to new perspectives.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's people are good, right? But then there's also theories. What we are talking about is just a paradigm or the theory that I don't think a lot of people believe in. And as you know, a lot of people actually just on a realm of being agnostic. They're waiting to be convinced. Otherwise, that's why, again, book distribution in a nice way, perform in a nice way is so important, because that's when the light bulb starts going on. It's like, oh, yes, yes. Yeah, I was thinking about that. But the schools, they don't teach. So people are good. In Kali Yuga, most people are just innocent. But when they're exposed to these dangerous theories, then the whole thing can become twisted. So the belief or the system or philosophical understanding can be dangerous, and it can be justified. A lot of people actually take advantage of that. It should be held responsible. Okay, hold on to that. We owe you a justice of a purport to text 9, but we can continue discussion over breakfast like that. So the Lord was, this is 9, and rich with 4 hands, earrings of molten gold, and eyes blood red with fury. So fury means he wasn't happy, right? How dare you? Remember, Krishna was protecting Arjuna. He was Arjuna's very dear friend. And this is how Krishna's protection is extending, not just to Arjuna, but even to this grandkid. How dare you touch this Parikshit? He's a grandkid of Arjuna. So Krishna will do everything. So he was very filled with fury. As he loitered around, his club constantly encircled him like a shooting star. It is said in Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, that the Supreme Lord Govinda, by his one plenary portion, enters into the halo of the universe and distributes himself as Paramatma, or the super soul, not only within the heart of every living being, but also within every atom of the material elements. Thus the Lord is all-pervading, but his inconceivable potency. And thus he entered the womb of Uttara to save his beloved devotee Maharaj Parikshit. In the Bhagavad Gita 9:31, the Lord assured everyone that his devotees are never to be vanquished. No one can kill a devotee of the Lord because he is protected by the Lord, and no one can save a person whom the Lord desires to kill. The Lord is all-powerful, and therefore he can both save and kill as he likes. He became visible to his devotee, Maharaj Parikshit, even in that awkward position in the womb of his mother. In a shape just suitable for his vision, the Lord can become bigger than thousands of universes and can become smaller than an atom at the same time. Merciful as he is, he becomes just suitable to the vision of a living being, a limited living being. He is unlimited. He is not limited by any measurement of our calculations. He can become bigger than what we can think of, and he can become smaller than we can ever conceive of. But in all circumstances, he is the same all-powerful Lord. There's no difference between the tongue-like Vishnu in the womb of Uttara and the full-fledged Narayan in the Vaikuntha Dham, the kingdom of Godhead. He accepts the form of Archavrigaha, worshipable deity, Shishigo Nitai Ki Jai. So this is also the medium size, just appropriate. Because how do you dress the universe? How do you offer cloth? How much cloth you need to dress the universe? But here they are, standing here, so merciful. He says, "Here, you can dress me. You can do my laundry for me. You can feed me." How do you feed the whole universe? You know how many tons of rice just in Jagannath Puri they cook every day? 2 tons every day. And 64 offerings. This is Jagannath. This is the Lord of the universe. But imagine you have to feed the whole universe. 2 tons will be just a drop in the bucket. But Jagannath comes. The whole universe comes as Jagannath. Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath.
And he mercifully accepts the cloth, all the paraphernalia, the incense, whatever pujari is offering. He's mercifully accepting. And then full benefit. What is it? Jagatushtam. Nityatushtam Jagatushtam. Do you know? When Krishna is pleased, When you feed Krishna, the whole universe is pleased. So if you can hit the spot and please Krishna, and we please Krishna by pleasing Krishna's devotees, then the whole universe, the whole world will be pleased with you. So this is a secret. Archa Vigraha, very merciful. Just to accept service from his different incapable devotees. This is a very funny expression. Incapable devotees. What do you think about that? Why incapable? Huh? Well, limited, yes. Yes, that too. But yeah.
Mahatma said yesterday, mercy implies something that's not deserved.
Describes in Shastra there's 4 defects of living beings: the imperfect senses, then propensity to commit mistakes, then the tendency to dwell in illusion, and the 4th one, so this
Propensity to cheat.
imperfect senses, dwell in illusion, and one more.
Forget. Yeah, I remember. Tasmin tushtam jagat tushtam. Yes, that's when Krishna is pleased, the whole universe is pleased. Yeah, incapable in a sense. How I saw it, incapable in a sense that we can't. How do you address the whole universe? How do you feed the whole universe? So we're pretty incapable because we're anu. We're very tiny. So how do you even think of that? But then he comes because it's a fact. We do live in a conscious universe that is Jagannath, but we can't. It's like 2 babies talking in the womb of a mother. Do you think there's a mother? I don't know. It's pretty dark over here. I'm not sure. Are you like? Yeah, it must be. And there was a skit by a devotee in New York. Yaduna. You know Yaduna? There. He's funny. It's funny. He has some really good humor. Anyway. So incapable. We're incapable in that way. But by the mercy of Archa Vigraha, Shishigo Nitai Ki Jai, the form of the Lord in material elements, the devotees who are in the material world can easily approach the Lord, although he is not conceivable by material senses. So it is the metal, it is the wood, it is the marble, but is it? Is it the metal? Is it the wood? Is it marble? For those whose hearts are like metal or marble, that's what it is. But if your heart is softened by bhakti, then there will be a different experience. Just like in a Kamsa's wrestling arena. Remember, I think Shyamala Kishore was saying that when Krishna entered, there's all these devotees, they perceive him in a different way. Some saw him as this beautiful boy, like Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, and all the our girls. And Tower boys, they saw him as his friend. Chanura and Mustika, the wrestlers, they saw him as a thunderbolt. And then less intelligent, it says that, less intelligent, they saw him as incapable. Right? They saw him as, They didn't understand. They didn't understand the real power. Thumb-like size, Prabhupada said, same power is there. Same ultimate power. This is bigger than thumb size, so you can imagine. It's 2 thumbs, but how much is one unlimited plus another unlimited? Same power. Same power, regardless what the size is. So Gauranga standing there, and they are not metal. They are Sachit Ananda Vigraha, transcendental forms, full of bliss, eternity, and knowledge. And as you plug in with bhakti, bhaktyamam abhijanati yavanyashtasya tattvata. And what Krishna says, one can understand and know me in truth, in tattva, only through bhakti. You have to have that ingredient somehow or other. Yena tena prakavena mana Krishna niveshayet. Somehow or other, try to attach your mind to Krishna. And as soon as you start chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Lord Nityananda is eager to help along the way. So this is our connection. This is our umbilical cord, speaking about the womb and the embryos. This is our nourishing line. This is our everything, our inspiration, strength. Archa Vigraha is therefore all spiritual form of the Lord to be perceived by the material devotees. That's interesting. Such an Archa Vigraha of the Lord is never to be considered material. There's no difference between matter and spirit for the Lord, although there is a gulf of difference between the two in the case of the conditioned living being. For the Lord, there's nothing but spiritual existence. So for us, there's material. For Krishna, it's like Prabhupada gives an example of electric power. You can use it to cool, or to cool those ice packs. But you can also use it to make a toast sandwich. One is cold, the other. So for the electric power, it's the same energy. But for us, we differentiate. However, for the Lord, there's nothing but spirit. And similarly, there's nothing except spiritual existence for the pure devotee of the Lord in his intimate relationship with the Lord. So as you become more and more intimate, you'll also be able to utilize energy in Krishna's service. Prabhupada was walking one day and picked a flower and said, is it material or is it spiritual? What do you say? Bridget, what do you say? You pick a flower, is it material or is it spiritual? Okay, yeah, that's a spiritual vision. Correct. The answer is correct. It is spiritual when it's offered. So we want to offer the whole world to Krishna, because actually not offered. We want to acknowledge that the whole world is Krishna's, and that's when all the struggle stops. Once you accept that everything belongs to Krishna, and that it's meant for his enjoyment, and that he's also not only the owner or enjoyer, but he's also your best friend, that's when you attain peace. That's when the struggle, prakritistani karshati, the struggle with the mind and the senses, everything stops. It's not for me, it's for Krishna. So don't be a thief. Don't be even small thief. Prabhupada was with the big industrials in Mumbai. He was making glass. He called him a thief. He said, but Prabhupada, I run my business, but I also give some donation to the Mumbai temple and temple. He says, then you're a small thief. You're a small thief. Still, something for me. This is for Krishna, but something is for me also. No, it's all for Krishna. And Krishna will maintain. He does not fail to maintain. Okay. All right. 5 minutes over time. Sorry, we don't have. Oh, there it is. Speaking about breakfast. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Chimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Sitana Premanande.
Jai Radha Vidya Jal, Jodhira Radhika, Jai